We have 7-day-old Australian Labradoodle puppies today. And in this video, we're doing a litter update. So we're going to tell you all about what the puppies have been up to this past week. We're going to let you meet them all up close and personal, give you a rundown on their color, pattern, their sex, and also what their current weight is. And we're going to update you on Mama Joya as well. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, does it make a difference what the sex of your puppy is? We're going to talk a little bit about chocolate in Australian Labradoodles, and does the coat color change and why? And then we're going to talk briefly about getting ready to welcome your puppy into your home. This litter is fully reserved and we are so excited for our families. I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles, and this is our Jingle Paws litter. And they are so named because they will be going home during the holidays. On December 27th will be their going home day. And we're going to start off with Mama Joya and what she's been up to this past week. Mostly what she's been doing is what she's doing right now, feeding her puppies and hanging out, talking to me. Joya is an experienced mom. This is her second litter. She very much enjoys being a mom, and Joya also enjoys being outside and running. So being cooped up in here and having to be still and feed 8 babies all day can get a little boring. And once you've done it once, you don't worry so much. It's just like when you have your second child. The first time you're all excited and worried about every little thing, and the second child comes along and it's like, oh yeah, right. Just like you don't have as many pictures of your second child as you do of your first child. So Joya really enjoys coming outside with us. Now our property is 5 acres. It's split into 2 different portions. We have a smaller portion at the front and a larger portion at the back. At the front, this is where we don't have quite as much wildlife traffic. The deer don't tend to come through here very often. There's still some rabbits, but nothing like what we have in the back. So this area is safer for our mums. And we don't like our mums to be exposed to a lot of rabbit and deer poop because it tends to carry some things that can make puppies sick. One of the things is coccidia, and this is something that most dogs are carrying around all the time. But once you're older, it's not a problem and you just deal with it. But when you're a little puppy like this and your immune system's not developed yet, it can make you quite sick, and if left unattended, can even kill a little puppy this age. So that's why we restrict them to this area. But we've designed the front so that there's a nice long stretch from the top of our driveway down through to the entrance to our puppy family room, where the dogs can run and they can race up and down. And there's still lots of fun things to smell. We have 2 large cedar hedges that they can explore underneath. And then there's an area off to the side that's all full of lots of things that they can get themselves into. Usually that results in trouble because they end up coming back with branches and twigs and not particularly dry during the rainy season on Vancouver Island. So Joya takes full advantage of this. She goes up and down and her tail's going. This afternoon, or this morning rather, when I had her out, she saw a rabbit and she goes for a little bit, but she doesn't leave the property. She still will not leave the puppies for more than a few minutes at a time. But what she is enjoying as well is getting outside of the whelping box and just sleeping right in front. It gives her a little bit of me time, but she's also right here in case any of the puppies need her. Now the other thing that Joya has started to do is do her own interior decorating. So that's why we have this blanket here. And as you'll seen on our little reels on Facebook, we put this in so that mom has something to dig up. She picks it up in her mouth, she moves it around, and it occupies that urge and that natural instinct that mamas have to keep their nest clean and to keep their babies in their nest without burying the puppies in the heavier carpet that we have here for the flooring. We don't want the puppies getting all wrapped up in this, because sometimes they can't breathe. And the other thing is sometimes when we come in, we can't see them and we don't want to inadvertently step on one or put our hand on one. Even Joya, when she comes in, if she has her puppies inside this blanket, as sometimes the puppies will migrate themselves into there, she doesn't know where to put her feet. Otherwise, it's amazing. She's like a ballerina. She comes in and she very carefully finds her position. You can see there's hardly any room in here when it's Joya, myself, and the 8 puppies. Hi, baby girl. And when we're all in here, if she's coming in and out, she can very deftly find her place with no problem whatsoever. She's very skilled. And you see we have these bricks here on all 4 corners of the whelping box, and that's to prevent her from being able to pull the mat up. But we don't want to go against her basic instincts, which are to dig, so that's why we always give her something available. Sometimes it's just going to be a little towel, and sometimes it's going to be the larger blanket. If it's just a little towel, that's if they're not really all that excited, or sorry, if they're really digging a lot. If they're not too excited about it and kind of half-hearted, then I'll give them something bigger. Now Joya's super smart. She takes this and she arranges it all with her mouth and her legs, and she'll put it in the corner, and she makes a nice little place for her to rest her head or to lean up against when she's nursing her puppies. She's very good at interior decorating. So she must have been perhaps a decorator in her human life. Other than that, Joya's doing fabulously, other than she does still ask me to feed her by hand every day. She'll look at her food. She'll look at her food for hours and wait until one of us comes in and delivers it by hand to her. Apparently that makes it taste much more palatable. So just something that some girls do, not all of them, but both she and Posey are doing that at the moment. There, and now she's showing you all the babies. She's all stretched out here. She'll probably rest her head on my foot. She does like to do that. So you can see all of these beautiful box of chocolates that she and Sumac have given us. Now, while we're talking about chocolates, all these puppies are chocolate and Joya is chocolate. And if you look at the color of the puppies compared to Joya, you'll see that that chocolate is darker. So what's that all about? Well, chocolates in Australian Labradoodles tend to lighten. And the word that we use as breeders is we refer to them as silvering. And if you'll look in Joya's head here, not sure if we can get a close enough shot or not, but you'll see it looks like she's got hair like mine, where there's lots of gray in it. She has a little less than I do, being much younger than I am. But this is what we refer to as silvering. And this is entirely normal and to be expected with a chocolate dog. And that silvering, depending upon the density of the silvering, is what will change the color from this very dark juvenile color through to a lighter color as the dog ages. Now, Joya's coat is pretty much where it's going to be at. When she gets more silver, that will be actual gray from age. She's too young to have actual gray hair yet. And then if you take a look here on her face, hello beautiful, you'll see how her mustache has lots of gorgeous golden red highlights in it. Those have nothing to do with the color of her coat. This is from sun and water exposure. Now Joya goes on a lot of camping trips with her guardian mom, and she enjoys swimming. So she's out in the sun and in the ocean a lot. Because she lives on Vancouver Island, she does swim in salt water a fair bit. And so that lightens up the mustache area. Oh, yes, I see you, you're a good girl. So that's a totally normal thing, and that happens on most color of dogs. So these little Labradoodle puppies, their coats will not stay this incredibly dark chocolate that we see right now, but they'll be more like Joya. Now Papa Sumac, his coat is what we call a dilute. So his chocolate is not a silver that's lightened, but he has a dilution gene, which means that his coat has become sort of a milky chocolate color. It's a really cool color. Each dog is different. It can be almost a pewter kind of hue to it. It's really pretty. And so these puppies will have one of those genes, possibly one of those genes from sumac. And if they do, then their coat will lighten to be a little bit lighter than what Joya's coat is. So that's a little bit about a color and Australian Labradoodles. And then the other thing I want to talk to you about is in this litter, we have 5 boys and 3 girls. Now, lots of times we have people saying, oh, I'd really prefer a girl. I'd really prefer a boy, which is totally fine. We're always happy to hear your preferences. But a lot of that is based on some confirmation bias that we have when we've had a dog that we've just loved so much and it's been a boy. And so we really think we want a boy. Or vice versa, we've had a wonderful girl and we would prefer to have a girl. Or sometimes we've read some internet lore, or we've heard from some friends some myths about dogs and their sex and how that impacts their behavior. Whether a dog is a boy or a girl has zero impact on their behavior unless they are an intact dog. To dogs, all dogs, unless they are intact, are a spayed female. It doesn't matter if they're a neutered male or a spayed female. Dogs recognize all of one another as soon as you're desexed as being a spayed female. So dogs don't think there's any difference. And I can tell you from 43 years of doing this that there is absolutely no difference. What the difference is the puppy's individual personality. We can see what these personalities are like as they start to emerge. Around 6 weeks, we have a good idea. And by the time we do our allocations, we can definitely see some personality traits. Now, are these traits, is this how the puppy's going to be as an adult? Chances are, yes, you're going to see that to some degree. How much of it is dependent on a lot of other things. You will have an enormous impact on your dog. What your puppy is like here with us is not the same as what your puppy will be like at home with you. The basic dog and the basic dog's personality will remain intact, but you will enhance and bring out certain qualities and others will not be as evident. So I can own a dog and you can own the same dog and they'll be slightly different because we do have nature and nurture. But it's nature that dictates what a dog's basic personality is like as opposed to nurture. The nurturing part can be undone and fixed, if you will, if there's been a problem in many circumstances. Not all of them, but in many. This is why we can take a dog who's had a difficult beginning, perhaps been abused, and we can bring them around and have them become a little bit more trusting. You'll never get them to 100%, but if you work really hard on it and you protect them from certain circumstances, you can see a marked improvement. So this is why when you say to me, oh, I really want a boy, for instance, I'll always say, certainly we'll do our very best to accommodate you. But at the end of the day, it has absolutely no bearing on what your puppy is going to be like. So in this litter, because we have more boys than girls, you're more likely to have a boy than a girl. We also have one of the puppies in this litter who is going to be traveling to England as a breeding dog, assuming that we do have a breeding quality dog in the litter, and that puppy will be a female. So one of the females is already set aside, if you will, for that purpose, which leaves 2 females in the litter. So just so you know, chances are you're probably going to get a boy. Lots of times I think when we do these things, I shouldn't even tell you who's a girl and a boy. But of course, when you come to the family visit, it's a little bit obvious which one is which. But truly, it has absolutely no impact. Talk to your vet. Your vet will tell you that this is the actual truth of things and that it's not what your friend Bob, who happens to know about dogs, has told you. It's not what you've read on the internet. You need to ask people who have lots of experience with dogs, such as your breeder or your veterinarian. Now let's talk about all of you who are on this list. This is when you have to start thinking about getting ready to welcome your puppy home on December 27th. This is the big day. This is when it's going to be so much fun. It's going to seem like you've waited forever, but it will be here before you know it. So we are going to be sending you a video that's going to give you a fair bit of information about how to do that and how to get yourself ready, yourself and your home. So the things that you want to start looking at are just walking around your house. Take a look around the house and go, you know, this area really should be dog free. Now, I quilt, as most of you know, and because I quilt, I have needles, I have thread, I have fabric, and I often make a huge mess. So where I quilt, I have blocked off with an X-Pen, the same X-Pen that comes in our puppy starter kit. So that way I don't have to worry about my things getting wrecked, and I don't have to worry about any possible risk to the well-being of adult dogs or puppies. So that X-Pen is almost always there. Now, sometimes I have everything put away and it's all neat and tidy, and then the X-Pen is also put away. But if I'm in the middle of doing something, then I will have put that X-Pen up to keep everything safe. Keeps the puppy safe, keeps my adults safe, and it also keeps Reynolds out of my things as well as the dogs. And then the other thing that we want to talk about is your kids. If you have kids, then you want to start now having them get used to picking their toys up and picking their shoes up, and when they come home, having somewhere to put their shoes. As adults, you need to start getting used to not putting your remote control on the coffee table, but putting it up somewhere much higher. All of your plants somewhere much higher. You will think, oh, the puppy can't get into that. If it's expensive and something you like, that's the first thing the puppy will get into. Glasses, they love to eat glasses. So just start walking around. The other thing that's really key is to pick the door your puppies are going to use to go to the bathroom. These guys are going to be really smart. They're going to come home to you with already the idea that you go outside, but they're going to need you to be consistent and put them out the same door. So find one that's easy. Find one where you can have the harness and the leash nearby, and where it's easy for your dog to get out of. And the final thing is start thinking about what rules you want to have in place. And remember, it's really easy to relax your rules. It's almost impossible to make them more strict. So if you're not sure whether you want your puppy to be up on your furniture or not, start with not allowing them on the furniture. When you do that, remember, you and every single person, your guests, everyone who come into contact with your dog must sit on the floor. Otherwise, your puppy is going to be completely confused. You can't have someone taking the puppy and putting them on the lap while they're on their lap while they're on your furniture. They won't understand what on earth it is, why you're saying yes here and no there, and you'll be frustrated, and the puppy will be frustrated. So as long as you're happy with having all of your family and your friends sitting on the floor with your puppy, great. Otherwise, then the puppy's going to go on the furniture. Now, what we do at our house is we have a sort of 50-50. They're not allowed on certain furniture, but they're allowed on the other furniture. And now, whenever we have someone come over and they sit on the furniture the dogs are not allowed onto, you guessed it, the first thing they do is jump up to say hi to the guests, because they look at us and go, well, you're not going to get mad at us when somebody's here visiting. They're very clever. So be aware, your puppy will be training you right from the get-go, and they'll keep doing that. So just be aware that when you get a dog who's clever, We all love that because it makes them easy to have them learn when we're training them. But it also makes them challenging because they can outwit you. They won't just dumbly and blindly follow along and do what you ask. These guys think. And so you have to be on the ball and realize, oh yeah, I can't just do this, because they'll figure this out. So if you're on this litter list, you'll get a video with more information about this. And now we'll do the fun part. We'll go through all the puppies and we'll just talk a little bit about where they're at in terms of their weight. Now, if you look at them all lined up here, we couldn't have asked for them to be more cooperative, I must say. You can say everybody's nice and plump. We don't have any skinny puppies here. We don't have any bones sticking out, but we also don't have any enormous bulging stomachs from overfeeders. This is exactly what we like to see. Perfect body condition. All of these puppies have not doubled their birth weight. We have weighed them early in the day because we're doing the video. And we don't worry, particularly if they haven't doubled, especially when there's 8 of them in the first 7 days. As long as we get there by day 10, we're perfectly happy. And nobody's off by more than a few grams, and probably by tomorrow they'll all be there. If we'd weighed them tonight after dinner when they were truly 1 week old, I'm sure that pretty much all of them would have been right there. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to do this in birth order, and puppy number 1 is Blue Collar Boy, and he is a chocolate phantom. So he is, there we go, buddy. He's not going to be liking me for taking him off the milk bar. So that's why we do it really gently and slowly. Oh, he's actually not even attached. There, he was just really sleepy. He looks very similar to Papa Sumac. He just has a little bit less white on the top of his face. Hello. Now this puppy can't hear me. He can't see me, but he already is starting to recognize what I smell like. He knows when I come in that I'm warm. That's about all that matters to him right now. And I don't have a milk bar. So this little handsome guy is now 526 grams, and he's going to try and nurse off my finger. Then we had our first girl, and that's Red Collar Girl, and she's right here. And Red Collar Girl is a pretty chocolate party. Let's show you the markings on her back first. I always give them a little kiss on the nose just so they know that it's me. They can tell already if it's me or if it's Taylor. And I love this little puppy. Beautiful dark chocolate markings on either side of her head. Love this little drop here. And then this ear's got a smidge of chocolate on it, and this ear's all white. I always like it when they have different colored ears. And Miss Red Collar Girl is 519 grams. Yes, you are. Next we have Green Collar Boy. There you go, good girl. That's a good girl, Jojo. Green Collar Boy is another chocolate, and Green is our smallest puppy. Oh, and he's attached. And he says, oh no, somebody's gonna get my spot. Darn it. Hey, little guy. Oh, he's so cute. And he has a little bit of white on him, but not as much. He's more of a chocolate guy. Oh, I'm so exhausted. And he is 442 grams. And if you'll remember when we did the birth announcement just a few days ago, he fit in my hand, and already he's not really fitting in there very comfortably. Oh, I'm sorry you lost your spot. Let's see if I can find a place to put you where you can find another one. I'll put you down here. Then we have Orange Collar Boy. There's Orange, 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 Orange. Just a minute, we gotta find Orange. There's too many puppies. Oh, are you hiding over here? No, that's purple. That's purple. Just hang on, we gotta find where Orange is. Here you go, here's Orange. Excuse me, Joya. You were hiding underneath your sister there. Oh, and Orange Collar also is a very similar to Sumac puppy. This is what we call a chocolate try because he's chocolate and he's got all this pretty white everywhere. He's quite a flashy guy. And Mr. Orange Collar is the biggest in the litter. So we go from the smallest to the biggest. That hasn't changed since they were born. And Orange is now 560 grams. And you'll see he he has quite a bit of white around his face. This will show up even more as he gets older. Then we go back to our next girl, and that is Pink Collar, and she's chowing down over here. Excuse me, baby. Can I get you to come over to Mama? There we go. There we go. And she too is a chocolate party. She's got this cool little marking here. I think this dog needs to be named Spot. She'll be named you Spot. She's got that pretty spot at the back, and then she's got the 2 spots, and then she has the beautiful half and half. She is a chocolate and a vanilla with her ears. So maybe there's a fun name in there with that combination, because it sure is pretty. Miss Pinky Girl is 505 grams. Then we go to Yellow Collar. And Yellow Collar, he's underneath here. Here we go. Oh, all the babies that I want now are eating, and not very happy that I'm disturbing them. Come here, you're all sideways here. No, you're silver. You're yellow. There we go. Yellow Collar is also a chocolate party. And maybe Yellow could be Spot as well. Another spot in the back, and then the 2 spots on the face. And this handsome fellow has the 2 vanilla ears. That's our little chocolate and vanilla swirl. And Yellow Collar Boy is 464 grams. Then we go to Purple. Purple is our last girl in the litter. And she's over here snoozing away at the back. Purple Collar Girl is a chocolate phantom. There she is. And she has just a little bit of white there on her tummy. She's a really pretty girl. She's got a beautiful head. For ALDs, we like to have a nice blocky looking head with a nice short nose. And you can see she's got that going on there for at least right now. And Miss Purpy is 551 grams. And then last but definitely not least is our Silver Collar Boy, who's right here. And we'll just take you off the milk bar, buddy. Thank you. And he is also a chocolate phantom. He doesn't show us markings as much as the other dogs, so we just call him a weak phantom. We'll have to think of a different word, because that doesn't sound very much like it's a nice way to explain that, does it? No, we'll call you a smudged phantom. Silver is 572 grams. So that's all your puppies. That's our update for this week. We hope you have enjoyed it, and we hope that you have learned lots, and we would really appreciate it if you take a moment and put some comments in our comment section here on YouTube, or if you don't have time for that, a thumbs up is always appreciated. And we'll be back again next week with your next update, and maybe we'll see some eyes in these beautiful Australian Labradoodles. Thanks so much for watching.